Hi, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Sherry, your host, also known as Bear's Mum. This week, we're going to have a conversation with Madi Kennett. Her brand is called The Conscious Pet Co, and we're going to be talking about dog toys and dog chews that are good for the environment and healthy for your dog. We're going to be talking about the benefits of coffee wood dental chews for your dog's health, as well as some of the risks associated with microplastics in dog toys. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, mums, and welcome back to the Natural Dog Mum podcast. I'm Sherry, and today we're having a lovely chat with Maddie. She is the founder and the owner of the Conscious Pet Co, and she's going to talk to us about her natural and non-toxic chews and chew toys for dogs. Welcome, nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. So to kick things off, tell us a little bit about how you got started, what inspired you to start the brand.
Yeah, so I guess I've always been quite an eco-friendly person, always quite conscious about the environment, especially like once I kind of moved out of home and kind of started buying my own household things and became a bit more conscious about, what we use in everyday life and, the amount of plastic out there. And yes, I've been on this slow kind of journey over the years. And I got Ziggy, my little border collie, when he was a puppy in 2019. Yeah, I got him. He was my first ever dog. So, of course, you get a puppy, you buy all the little toys, little plush toys, and all the usual things. Yeah, and then he kind of got a bit older and got into his destructive mode.
As they
You
do.
know, the usual kind of teething phase, the terrible twos. And I realized just how quickly he was going through his toys, polyester fluff everywhere. Yeah, so going through a lot of toys very quickly, even got to the stage of buying, those hardcore nylon plastic bones. And yeah, I kind of stopped and sat back and thought, you know what, there's got to be a better alternative out there because I'm doing what I can in my personal life to be more eco-friendly, use less plastic. And yeah, I thought there's got to be better options out there for dog toys. So yeah, going to the pet stores and trying to find alternatives, and there was pretty much nothing out there. It's all kind of the usual old school brands that have been around forever. And I mean, at the time, slowly there was a little bit of a transition. A couple of years ago, I started seeing one or two brands slowly emerging. They were kind of a little bit half-assing it with being more sustainable and natural with their toys. They would kind of have like the outside of the plush toy would be jute or hemp or something, but then they were still stuffed with polyester stuffing and a plastic squeaker.
You still
And
see that a lot
there's
in
other brands that
Australia.
were doing kind of, yes, a lot of greenwashing going on. There's like other brands that kind of do recycled plastic stuff, which again, it's much better than virgin plastic, but it's still plastic that your dog's chewing on. So, and that's another thing. I think I went on this journey and venture with the dog toys with the environment in mind, but the more I've delved into it, I've realized it's also about your dog's health. So, I found there was nothing out there that was really, ticking all the boxes for me. I decided, you know what, let's see what we can do with this. I'm sure there's other pet parents out there who feel the same way. They're very eco-conscious and, and also, as I said, your dog's health, like it's something that I've really learned along the journey. It's not the sole reason why I started, but it's definitely a huge part of it now that I've started. So yeah.
Absolutely. So how did you actually get started? I know that you were doing market stalls, which you still do occasionally. Did you start making your first products or were they sourced from a supplier? How did it happen?
Yeah, so I was thinking about it, as I said, for a while. There's nothing out there. So I literally just went down to the craft store, got some cotton, like macrame cord, started playing around with different ropes because Ziggy being a working dog, a border collie, he absolutely loves ropes, loves tug of war. So, started off with kind of playing around with rope, ordered like dried loofah and kind of started cutting that up into bone shape, a bit of a dental chew toy. Yeah, and then just started making them myself, and I thought, you know what, I might make an Instagram page, business name, did all that, did a tiny little soft launch, I guess. I was kind of half in, half out at this stage. I kind of started posting it on this Instagram page and did a little bit of a soft launch on Etsy. And then I thought, you know what, let's do it at the markets. Then I can get feedback from pet parents face to face. Yeah, get in front of people's faces and see if this is actually an idea that people want. And then started with the market shortly after, website, getting right into the social media, and before you knew it, I was just doing all the things.
Excellent. So tell me about how you came across the coffee wood for your power chews. How did that start?
Yeah, so it had probably almost been a year of me going to the market, selling these handmade ropes that I've been making. I also came out with some hemp bones stuffed with wool, so doing things on the sewing machine as well. And I just found a lot of pet parents needed something for extreme chewers and power chewers. As good as my ropes are, and I've refined the ropes over time, and they are some of the tightest, most durable ropes you can come across. Pet parents still needed that toy that they could just literally sit and chew on and work on. So I did a little bit of research and came across coffee wood as a natural option for dogs to chew on. And at that time, there really wasn't much in Australia who was utilizing the coffee wood. And I just saw this big gap because with coffee wood, it's all natural. There's no added flavors, no added preservatives, chemicals, plastic, anything like that. It's literally just wood, but the beauty of it is that the coffee wood is so dense and close grained so that your dogs can kind of sit there and whittle on it and shave it down with no kind of risk of splinters or, the harms that come with chewing on your regular sticks in the backyard. So I kind of went down that rabbit hole, found an awesome manufacturer who I work with. They have such good quality wood, and it's also a byproduct of the coffee industry. So once the coffee plants get to a certain age, around 20 years, they stop producing good coffee beans, and that's when they kind of cut them down and replant new ones. So no trees are actually cut down or uprooted for these chew toys. It's all a byproduct, and otherwise it would just be, mulched down or just disposed of. So it's another great thing. I mean, it just ticks all the boxes to me. The coffee wood, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's the long-lasting chew. It's all natural. It's sourced sustainably, and even the fact it's something that you can have indoors for your dog without odor and mess, and allergy-free, calorie-free. To me, it's honestly a no-brainer. I feel like everyone needs it in their life. It has amazing dental benefits for your dog chewing. It's a really fibrous wood, so as they chew on it, it's got a really soft wood fibers that help floss their teeth, and they absolutely love it.
It's a great alternative to a lot of the dental chew products out there, which contain fillers and preservatives and all sorts of ingredients we'd rather not feed to our dogs. If you've got, in particular, either a voracious chewer or you've got a dog who perhaps can't have raw bones for whatever reason, this is a great alternative. It's actually massaging and cleaning the gums and helps remove tartar.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's so many dogs now that have so many allergies to different proteins, and it's completely hypoallergenic, as well as, dogs that need to lose a little bit of weight, it's completely calorie free. So if your dog needs to clean their teeth and needs a chew, but they need to lose weight as well, it's a great calorie-free option.
Absolutely. Not to mention they last and last and last so much longer than any other chews that I've seen. So they're good value for money in that respect. And I reckon they'd be really good for keeping dogs busy while you're at work or living life. You know, dogs with separation anxiety, that sort of thing, gives them something to gnaw on that's good for them and keeps them occupied.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, it's such a great toy to have lying around inside because there's no like odor or mess or attract ants or insects. Like you can just leave it around the house. Your dog can pick it up whenever they need, if they need, to soothe themselves or just let out some energy. Yeah, it's a really great option.
The other thing I really like about your natural rope toys as well, I think something that a lot of pet parents aren't really aware of when they're giving their dogs, particularly their puppies, toys that have plastics in them or are made of plastic. The danger is obviously biting off and swallowing is not a great thing because the body can't break it down. You've also got the risk of microplastics, of some of those smaller elements entering the body and causing problems. And the other thing that a lot of people don't realise with plastic toys, and same even with plastic bowls, once they get worn and they get, they all end up with scratches and abrasions due to being scraped by teeth and those sorts of things eventually. Bacteria really loves to get into those nooks and crannies, and that can lead to further health risks and problems as well. So having something available that is 100% plastic free becomes super important. And you've also got the ceramic food bowls as well for that reason.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm so passionate about this. Like the more I've gotten into the business, the more I've realized how important it is for your dog to not be chewing on plastic.
I feel exactly the same about being no plastic and have from the start. And that's where I'm very fussy about my ingredients as well. I just do not want anything in their system or on their skin or their coat that could potentially cause a problem. So we're very much in sync there, girl.
I think a big thing for me this year is trying to educate pet parents about their dog chewing on plastic because it's something that I didn't even think about when I first got Ziggy. Even though I try to live as plastic free as possible, I didn't really think about the health benefits until I got into this business. There's now studies that came out a couple of years ago that they're starting to find microplastics in human blood. And that to me is just absolutely crazy. I mean, us as humans, we don't even actively eat plastic or chew on plastic. So
It's in
you've got to think
everything.
about, your dog. Exactly. It's, your dog's chewing on plastic toys all day, every day. And they're definitely ingesting it, whether you like it or not.
That's right.
So just the impact of that. Yeah. And I mean, we want our dogs to live forever. Unfortunately, they don't. We'd love them to live forever, but, we want them to live as long as possible. And yeah, I think there's a big shift at the moment with the food industry, the pet food industry, and people are starting to realize that whole food diet, getting away from kibble and doing more whole foods and, whether it's raw or cooked, whatever, as long as it's more, higher protein, higher moisture, whole food. And, a lot of pet parents spend so much time and money and energy doing the food side of things, but they often forget about the toy side of things. So I think that's going to be my role for this year in a big way is educating people that, yeah, you could be spending all this time and energy on the best food, the best exercise, training, everything, but then you go home and give your dog a plastic toy to chew on every day. It's about education because, as I said, when I first got Ziggy, it's not something I even thought about. But yeah, the more I've gotten into this, I've started transitioning him to whole food diet. Obviously, all his toys now are Conscious Petco, and yeah, it's a really important matter that is not really being talked about. And the toy section, if you go into any, the toy section is living in the dark ages. Basically, it's the same brands that just sit there and they've been at the top of the pet toy industry for forever. And yeah, I'd really like that to change soon.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, sorry, that's my whole rant I wanted to get
No,
out.
that was really good. That's going in, girl. That was really good.
Okay, good, because that was the rant I wanted to get out, so I wanted to make sure that happened.
No, I feel you. As I said, I feel exactly the same. My focus is a little more on the skin side of things and the coat side of things, but same idea. I mean, I'm in the process of changing over to 100% organic ingredients. I feel that strongly, and I'll be the only one in Australia with a dog
Yeah.
skincare brand with 100% organic ingredients. I feel you. I'm having a similar experience, and you learn the more you immerse yourself in it, the more you learn, the more you think, oh my God, no, that's not happening. And you just sort of go deeper, the more the more you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly how it happened with me, just slightly different focus, but, same sort of outcomes.
Yeah, that's right. You kind of start surface level. As I said, it was kind of the environmental impact for me when I started, and very quickly it shifted to the health. And I think people resonate more too when it's about their dog. The environment, when we think about climate change and everything, we can get really overwhelmed. And I mean, I even get really overwhelmed about it all. So I just focus on what I can do for my little community, which at the moment is making completely plastic-free products for dogs. But yeah, I think people resonate more when it's looking at their family and their dogs and their dog's health. So yeah.
Yeah, because then it's personal. It's not something they can say, oh,
Yeah.
that's too big a problem. What can I do? Or, I'm not going to think about that, or that's someone else's problem. It's, this is affecting my home, and my pets. They are far more likely to take it seriously and to take action. It's definitely the right way to go.
Yeah, exactly. And even like I've kind of gone down that rabbit hole now of even, all the dyes and different things that are in the toys.
Mm-hmm.
So not even just plastic, but also all the other chemicals and dyes that go into them. I've up until this point, all my toys have kind of been dye free, and they've kind of been that natural color. Yeah, it's taken me a while to kind of find someone that can do natural vegetable dyes, because that's another thing. There's so many toxic dyes and chemicals that go into to toys. And I mean, I even just was looking at an article the other day that, big places like Shein and Temu, those big corporations, they've now found super high levels of like lead, chemicals, phthalates, all these crazy things in our clothing. So like human clothing has all these over 100 times higher than the safer limit, and people are wearing these clothes, and that's human clothing industry. That should be a regulated industry. So think about what happens to dogs' toys. I mean, the dog industry, pet industry, is so unregulated as it is. Like, they're probably just getting the scraps from God knows where and putting together some cheap dog toys, and then your dog's chewing on it. I've gone down that rabbit hole now. And yeah, it's really opened my eyes that like, you only know what you know, and I think there's so many pet parents out there that just need to be educated on this, because as I said, the toy category is in the dark ages. The food is getting better, the grooming products is also getting better, the toys are just, in medieval times. So yeah, I guess that's really my goal this year, is to spread the awareness, because yeah, the further you go down that rabbit hole, the more you realize like, wow, we could be really shortening our dogs' lives here from not being smart about what they're chewing on.
Well, let's see if we can give you a little bit of a helping hand with that this year, because it's definitely information that more pet parents need to know. They need to know what the swaps are, rather than buying the cheap stuff from Temu or wherever, and risking their long-term health, or even short-term. I mean, the number of times I have had puppies over the years who have ripped apart plastic toys and ended up at the vet because there are pieces stuck in the esophagus or stuck in the gut. It's dangerous stuff. And that's only one aspect.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And it's one of those things. It's hard because there hasn't been any alternatives out there up until now. I feel like brands have tried, and that's the thing. I don't want to ever shame any pet parents and say, you're doing the wrong thing or anything. Because again, as I said, when I first got Ziggy, there's no other options out there. So, you just you have to get what's available. But now that they're, ever since I started, there's a couple more brands, small brands in Australia who are trying to do it. And yeah, now that there are options, I think, it is very important for pet parents to seek out those options and, yes, support small business as well, but also support your dog's health.
Absolutely. So speaking of seeking out options, if people want to get in touch with you or want to buy your products, where do they go? What's your website?
Yeah, so the best way is through our website directly. It's consciouspetco.com.au. With conscious, there is 2 S's in there. Everyone forgets the S after the N. Or I have quite a few stockists around Australia, but again, just go to the website. I have the full stockist list on there. Otherwise, you can buy directly from the website.
And what about social media? What's your Instagram handle so people can follow you?
Yeah, so it's at Conscious Pet Co. So spelled exactly the same as the website. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok a little bit. We're slowly getting into some TikToks. Instagram is where we're most active though. So if you go to Instagram, definitely check us out on there.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. It's been so lovely chatting with you, and I'd love to have you back through the year so we can maybe do more of a deep dive into some of these health issues around plastics and dental health and those sorts of things, and give some more tips to dog mums about what they can do and what's available to help them.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks so much, Sherry, for having me. It's been good. My first ever podcast, so I'm
Yay!
very excited.
Well, you done well, girl. Thanks for tuning in for the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Say hi to your dog for me.